Yeah. Hi guys, good morning. In the last session, we discussed about what is custom query and how to execute custom queries by using data JPA. So, online students, is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. So in the data JPA, we have repository interfaces like CRUD repository is available and JPA repository is available. So by using CRUD repository and JPA repository, we can perform CRUD operations with the database. You no need to write the logic on your own when you are going for data JPA. So whatever the common operations are required to communicate with the database, like save the record, update the record, delete the record, retrieve the record, find how many records available in the table, check whether record is available in the table or not. These all are common operations. For these common operations, you no need to write your own logic. You no need to write your own query. JPA provided predefined methods. By using that predefined method, you can perform operations with the table. Those predefined methods are available in CRUD repository as well as in the JPA repository. Both are interfaces only. So if you want to call the methods available in the interfaces, we need to create one interface which will extend the properties from JPA repository, right? That is one way. So there are several predefined methods available in the JPA repository to perform CRUD operations. Now, then second option we have seen find by methods. So according to our requirement, if predefined methods are not suitable, I want to retrieve the record based on employee salary. I want to retrieve the record based on employee gender, records based on employee department. These columns are non-primary key columns. When you want to retrieve the data based on the non-primary key column, then predefined methods will not work out. Then we need to write our own methods. That's where find by methods comes into picture. So what is the purpose of find by method? What is the purpose of find by method? All of you speak out. Find by methods are used to retrieve the data based on the condition. So if you want to retrieve the data based on non-primary key column, then the best option find by method. So when you go for find by method, do you need to write the query or you no need to write the query? When you go for find by method, do we need to write the query or we no need to write the query? When you go for find by method, we no need to write the query. Based on the method name, our query will be constructed by JPA. You need to be very careful when you are writing the method name. So your method name should represent entity class variable name. Then only it can construct the query. If you write method M1, M2, M3, will not work out. Your method should start with find by keyword. Then after variable name you have to specify. So when you write the find by method, based on the method name, JPA will prepare the query and will execute that query. Find by employee salary, find by employee gender, find by employee department, find by department and gender, find by salary greater than or equal to some value. So based on the requirement, you can write the methods. But can I perform insert, update, delete by using find by method? What is the purpose of find by method? Find by methods are used only for select operation. You cannot perform update, delete, insert by using find by method. Good. What is the third approach to communicate with the database using JPA? Custom query. What is the meaning of custom query? We can write our own query and we can execute by using JPA. Predefined methods means JPA will prepare the query. Find by method means JPA will prepare the query. Here, I want to give the query to the JPA to execute it. I don't want JPA preparing query. I want my query to be executed using JPA. Then you can go for custom query. In order to work with the custom query, we are going to use @query annotation. So here we are going to create one repository. Inside the repository, we will write the method. For that method, we are writing @query annotation. So @query is used to execute the custom query. When you are writing that custom query, we will have named positional parameters. Positional parameters we can use, as well as named positional parameters also we can use. They are used to supply the values to the query in the runtime. Your query parameter, method parameter, names should be same. Then JPA will pass this value to this column in the query. Good. When you go for custom query, there are two types of custom queries we can write. One is called SQL. Second one is called HQL. One query is a SQL query. Another query is a HQL query. So SQL queries are database dependent. HQL queries are database independent. Why SQL queries are database dependent? Why SQL queries are database dependent? SQL queries will execute with the database directly. What about HQL? What about HQL? HQL queries will not execute in the database directly because database knows SQL. Database don't know HQL. HQL stands for Hibernate Query Language. So when database don't know HQL, then how can we execute the HQL query in the application? Our HQL query should be converted to SQL query. Who will convert HQL query to SQL query? Who will convert HQL to SQL? Dialect. In the Hibernate, there are 30 dialect classes available. When you go for the Hibernate, Hibernate means Spring ORM, Spring Data JPA, everything comes under Hibernate only. Our Data JPA also internally using Hibernate only. It supports 30 dialect classes. What is the meaning of that? Yes, our application can connect with the 30 databases without changing the single query. So HQL queries are database independent. So whenever you run the application, it will understand which database we are using. Based on that, it will choose particular dialect class and it will convert the HQL query to SQL query. So see the difference. SQL queries will use table names and column names in the query, whereas HQL queries will use entity class name and entity class variable name. Wherever you write the table name, instead of the table name, you need to write the entity class name. Wherever you write the column name, instead of that, you need to write variable name. So that is the first difference between SQL query and a HQL query. Then SQL queries can execute in the DB directly, whereas HQL queries cannot execute in the database directly. Every HQL query should be converted to SQL before execution. That will be taken care by dialect class. So SQL queries are database dependent. HQL queries are database independent. Now, which queries are recommended to use in the project? SQL queries are best in performance wise. SQL queries will give best performance. That means quick execution in our project. So why they are best in the performance? So there is no need of any conversion. Whatever the query you write in the project, that query can execute directly in the database. Query execution will be faster when compared with the HQL. So when you go for HQL query will give better maintenance wise. HQL queries are better. Performance wise, SQL queries are better. Good. Now let us try to write some HQL queries. Suppose if I have a SQL query like this, I want to retrieve all the data from the table. How do you write SQL query for that? Come on. Select star from table. That is employee. Okay. Next one. Let me give this as table like this. Select a star from employee table. So in the SQL query, we are using table name in the query. Whereas if I want to execute the same query by using HQL from entity class, what is our entity class? Employee. So here we are writing select star from employee table. That is a SQL query. So same query I want to execute by using HQL from entity class name. Based on the entity class name, it will identify the table name to retrieve the data. So it will convert that HQL query to SQL query. Next one, I want to retrieve record by using employee ID. How do we do that by using SQL? Come on, select star from employee table where employee ID is equal to some ID. That is a named positional parameter. In the JDBC, we will write the positional parameter directly, but it's better to give some name for the parameter. Okay, so I'm giving the name as EID, nothing but employee ID. For that, I want to write a HQL query. Come on, from employee where EMP ID is equal to colon EID. So here EMP table name, here employee class name. Wherever the table name is required, we will use entity class name. Employee ID is a column name. Wherever the column name is required, we will use variable name. Good. Now I want to retrieve the records based on gender and department. SQL query. What is the SQL query? Come on. Select star from EMP table where EMP underscore department is equal to DEPT and EMP underscore gender is equal to colon gender. Right? So select star from employee table where department is equal to DEPT and gender is equal to gender. So this is our table name. This is a column name. This is a column name. And this is named positional parameter. Now, let me write HQL query for this. Okay, come on. From employee where EMP department is equal to DEPT and EMP gender is equal to gender. That's it. So first, when you want to work with the HQL queries, first you write the SQL query, then you convert that into HQL. That is easy, right? We already know SQL, but we are new to HQL. Instead of writing the HQL directly, first you write SQL query as a comment, then you convert that SQL query into HQL query so that it will be easy for you. HQL stands for Hibernate Query Language. HQL is used to write database independent queries. I no need to consider which database we are using in the project when I am developing the persistence layer, because my HQL queries will be converted to SQL queries by using dialect classes. Suppose if I am writing SQL queries in the project, always I need to keep the database in my mind. Which database we are using? Based on that database, we need to write the SQL query. SQL queries are database dependent, whereas HQL queries are database independent. Are you clear? Next one. I want to retrieve only employee name and department, not all the columns. Currently, we are writing select star from table name. Okay, so when I go for select star from table name, what will happen? When you go for select star from table name, it will retrieve all the columns available in the table. Okay, I don't want all the columns. I want to retrieve specific columns from the table. I want to retrieve specific columns from the table. Can you tell me SQL query for that? Come on. Select EMP underscore name, EMP underscore department from EMP table. That's it. So employee table is available. If I go for select star from employee, it will retrieve all the records from the table with all the columns data. Now I want to retrieve all the records from the table, but I don't want all the columns. I don't want to write the star. I want to specify column names in the query. So this is called projection. Selection means where condition. Projection means retrieving specific columns from the table. Are you clear? Now, for this SQL, I want to write one HQL query. Remember, if you want to retrieve all the columns data, then query will start with from keyword. Getting my point? If you want to retrieve all the columns data from the table, HQL query will start with from keyword. But my requirement is different. I don't want to retrieve all the columns data. I want to retrieve first two columns only, name and department. So when you have projection in the query, HQL also will start with the select. Okay, what I want? Employee name comma employee department from employee. This is the query. So remember, whether you want to retrieve all the columns from the table or you want to retrieve specific columns from the table. If you want to retrieve all the columns from the table, from is the starting point. If you want to retrieve specific columns from the table, select is the starting point. So like this, we can write HQL queries. We can write HQL queries to execute custom queries in our application, right? So with this, we understood what is a HQL, why we need to go for a HQL, how to write the HQL, and what is the benefit with the HQL. So tell me, what is HQL? Why we need to go for a HQL? Come on. HQL stands for Hibernate Query Language. What is the benefit with the HQL? What is the benefit with the HQL? All of you, open your mouth, speak out. What is HQL? What is the benefit with the HQL? HQL stands for Hibernate Query Language. HQL stands for Hibernate Query Language. Why we need to go for HQL? Why we need to go for HQL? Database independent. What is the meaning of database independent? HQL query we can execute in any database. Our HQL query can work with any database. They are database independent, right? How they can work with the database? HQL queries cannot execute in the database directly. Conversion is required. Who is responsible to do the conversion? Dialect class is responsible to do the conversion. So HQL will give better performance or bad performance? HQL will give good performance or bad performance? Bad performance. Why bad performance? Every query should be translated to SQL. It will take more time. When HQL is recommended? When HQL is recommended? If your application want to change from one database to another database, if you want easy maintenance for your application, then HQL queries are recommended. Are you clear? Good. So when you are writing HQL, we will start with the from keyword, from entity class. What is the meaning of a from entity class? What is the meaning of from entity class? I want to retrieve all the records from the table with all the columns data. Good. So if you want to retrieve specific columns, then it will start with the select keyword. Good. Let's go to our repository, remove all these things. Okay. So I have my employee repository. I have removed all the methods available in the employee repository. Let me give this a service also. All of you practiced find by methods. I don't see anyone coming to the lab from this batch. Only 5 to 6 people are coming. Remaining people I don't see in the lab. Every day I'm staying here only. Only 5 to 6 people I'm seeing in the lab who are practicing continuously. But the remaining people, they are just coming to the class and they are going. What is the use of doing the course? When I am explaining the concept, everything is easy because I know how to teach the subject. I'm into this field from last 8 years. I know how to inject the subject into the student brain. After injecting the subject into your brain, that is your responsibility to do the practice. So when you listen to my class, you will understand the topic. You will remember the topic also theoretically. But practical knowledge you will not get if you just listen to the class. After the class is completed, minimum 2 to 3 hours you have to practice. Then only you will get the practical knowledge. Then only it will give you the confidence to attend the interviews. Otherwise, theoretically subject will be completed. When you go for the interview, you have to cry because they will screw you like anything when you go for experienced interview. Without having practical knowledge, it will become very difficult to crack that interview. So please, we have provided the facility. So from today, we have taken one lab mentor also. So he will be coming today. He will be available here from morning 9 to evening 8 o'clock. So he is already working in the company. He will sit here and he will do the work. He is doing work from home. So whatever the doubts you have, if you are feeling somewhat fear, if you want to ask the doubts to me, some people will feel if I ask the doubt to the sir will ask some other question. So with that fear, some people will not come to me to ask the questions. So you don't need to feel anything. If you don't know something, you can, I will be sitting here only. You can come and talk to me. Whatever the problem you have, I will help you to resolve that problem. Problem solving is very important. If you sit in the hostel, nobody will help you. Nobody will help you. Now the course is going very slow. Once this data JPA completed, then we will start the real applications development by using Spring Web MVC, REST API, microservices. Without having full picture, full clarity on these topics, understanding microservices development is very, very, very difficult. And without having the knowledge on microservices, clearing the interview is impossible. That is a damn sure. So I told you, we have 3 months of time. These 3 months is very, very, very important for you people. So if these 3 months, if you work hard, if you give your dedication towards the subject, you can get a good job. Now, this is lucky period for you. December month, IT companies are shut down. For all the IT companies, 10-15 days leaves will be available in the December because Christmas, New Year. In the foreign, December month, they will go for vacation. Foreigners will not work in the December month. That is the holiday period for them. As it is a holiday period for the foreigners in the December month, recruitment will not happen in the December. Interview calls will not come. Interviews will not be scheduled. So December, no interview calls, no jobs. January, Sankranti festival will be there. Indians will be on the vacation. Here calls will not be available. February, March, financial year ending for the any company. For all the companies, March month is the financial year ending. Companies has to submit the balance sheet to the income tax department. They will be busy in the balance sheet preparation in the February and March month. So companies will not give budget for new recruitment in the March month, in the February and March month. Till March, market will be down. Interview calls will not be available. From the April, market will open for the freshers as well as for experienced people. By that time, you need to be ready. By the time you need to be ready to attend the interview. From 3-4 months, there are no interview calls. Lot of working people also will try for the jobs from the April month, because in the March month, companies will give the salary hike for the employees. Once they got the salary hike, then they will shift for the another company. For example, if the salary is 10 lakhs, now company will give you 2 lakhs bonus or 2 lakhs as a increment. 12 lakhs will be available. With the 12 lakhs, they will go for the different company. They will expect 18 lakhs package. Working people will be trying for the new jobs from the April. When the working people are trying for the new jobs, for you people, competition will be high, because learning is different, working is different. So you need to learn a lot of subject if you want to get the job. These are 3 months, you need to work hard and you need to prepare. From April, you need to start giving the interviews. So if you want to give the experienced interviews, then you need to be very strong technically, not only theoretical part, programming part also. You should be able to develop the code on your own. Don't think that when you go for the interview, they will ask you, what is a Spring Boot? What is a component scanning? Nobody will ask you that question. That is a theory. That is theory, right? If you go for the interview, they will give you one system. They will give you one task. You need to complete that task. You need to show the output then and there itself. One team lead will sit with you. They will give you task for 2 hours of time. You need to develop the code by following the best practices. You need to submit the task to the team lead. Then your first round will be cleared. If you are not able to write the code on your own, there is no use of going for the interview. So market strategy got changed. Till last year, They used to take the technical interviews directly, but nowadays they are not taking the technical interviews directly. They are taking the coding round first. They will give you some task. Develop one project by using Spring Boot and microservices, by using all the tools, and show me the output. So they will observe each and every line of code you are writing. What are the best practices? What are the coding naming conventions you are following? How you are writing the logic? Is it optimized logic or it is not optimized logic? Okay. Is there any bug in that code? Is there any problem in that code? Is there any vulnerability in that code? What is the time complexity of your code? What is the space complexity of your code? They will check each and everything. Then only they will select you for the interview, because competition is very, very, very high. Competition is very, very high. I will tell you. 2 days back, I met one college student. We have shifted to new house last week. So when I have been to new house, we are staying in the second floor. In the third floor, there is a BTech student. So their parents met with us and we asked them what your kid is doing. They asked first what you are doing. I told them that we are running a training institute in the Amirpet, name called Ashok IT. I'm having 11 years experience as a Java full stack developer. Okay, we need some guidance for our kid. They called. Then I had interacted with that kid. That person is doing BTech second year. He completed Java certification. He completed C# certification. He completed Python certification. And now he is doing AWS certification. He developed a project on his own by using data science, AI and ML. If you ask any data structure, he's writing the code. He will tell what is time complexity, what is space complexity. He got selected for the Amazon company with a 45 lakhs package in the second year. That is the market condition. He is doing his BTech from VNR Vignan Jyoti nearby, that Nijampet. The college is available. Do you know VNR? VNR College in Hyderabad. In the second year only, they got the placements. Amazon, Microsoft, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Deloitte, Accenture. These companies are going to those colleges to recruit the people. I got shocked. Second year BTech 2-2. Second year, second semester, he got the job from the Amazon company with a 45 lakhs package. What is our skill set? What is that person's skill set? He's doing just second year BTech second semester. He completed all the programming languages certification. He developed one project on the data science on his own. In the college, they will not teach anything. He has purchased a lot of courses in the Udemy, in the YouTube. He is reading on his own. He is learning on his own. He completed data structures on his own. Java language, C language, C#, that is .NET, Python, Java, AI and ML completed. He got the job. And he told me, I asked him, how was your interview experience? They asked questions only on the data structures. So they ask a question on the data structure. You can write in any language. They will not ask you to use only Java. If you are comfortable with C, go with the C. Or Java, you can use it. Python, you can use it. C#, you can use it. But you need to write the best solution. Time complexity, space complexity. And he submitted his project to that interview member on the AI and ML. By looking at that project, they got impressed and they gave the offer letter. His job is ready. But still, he's asking me, do I need to learn anything extra? So that is the interest that students are having nowadays because of that competition. So tomorrow, when such kind of people come for the interview, when you go for the interview, they will throw your resume in the dustbin. What is the use? Second year people are doing that kind of hard work. You guys are staying in Amirpet. You are not able to spend 8 hours for your study. You are not able to spend 8 hours for your study. How do you get the job? People are saying, we are not getting the jobs, market is down. Always openings will be there, but they are looking for the worthful candidates. Always IT companies will have the recruitment. These 2 to 3 months recruitment will not be there. After that, recruitment will be there. But some people will tell, IT is gone. There are no jobs in the IT. Jobs will be there in the IT. The required candidates are not there in the market. Skilled candidates are not there in the market. So the people, why they are not getting the jobs? The reason, what company is expecting, people are not having that skill set. So you need to improve that skill set. To improve that skill set, just 3 months course is not sufficient. Just 5 months course is not sufficient. Lot of efforts you need to keep and you need to practice. Then only you can crack the interview. Smart thinking is required. Smart thinking, batti, ratta mat marna bhai. So you need to become a dynamic programmer. Based on the requirement, your mind should work. You have to work with your brain. You will see in the project development, project course. Every day, I will give the new task. You need to do the brainstorming. Do you know what is brainstorming? What is brainstorming? You need to think and you need to design and you need to develop. So in the company, every day we need to do the brainstorming. It's not like login application, registration application. Every day new requirement will be available. According to that requirement, you need to design the database tables. You need to design the Java classes. You need to write the code. You need to test that code. You need to deploy that code in the cloud platform. Only Java also not sufficient. You need to good in the Java for microservices development. You need to good in the front-end development. You need to good in the cloud platform. You need to good in the DevOps. You need to good in the Linux also. In the companies, every project will be deployed on the Linux platform by using AWS cloud machines. Deployment will, it's not like right click on the project, run as Spring Boot application. That is only for your development. Only for your development. In the company, the deployment process is completely different. DevOps pipelines will be available. In some projects, you need to write the DevOps pipeline as a developer. In my project, we are writing the DevOps pipelines, not the DevOps team. So our company is a product-based company. Every developer should be all-rounder. He should know front-end, back-end, database, Linux, DevOps, AWS. Then only you can survive in the job. Otherwise, gone. So market expectation is very, very, very high from the candidates. So if you meet that expectation, then only you will get the job. Otherwise, you will stay in the Amirpet only. So I told you, once again, I'm repeating, 3 months of time, very, very, very crucial for you to become an employee. Lot of competition will be there from the month of April because 3 months shutdown period for the IT. So many people will try for the job changes, job shifting from the April month. So you will go with that competition. Lot of working people will attend the interview along with you. Their confidence level, your confidence level, they will check. Definitely they will have more confidence than you. So if you want to meet that level, you need to do a lot of hard work. You need to develop a lot of projects on your own. It's not like what I am teaching here. I will teach the content, whatever I have promised. Apart from that, you need to practice extra. You need to take a scenario. For example, you understood JDBC Servlet JSPs. You understood Spring Boot core. You understood data JPA. You need to develop one project. Now you need to create a scenario. E-commerce applications are there. How they will develop. In our mobile, phone book application is available. How to develop a phone book application. Add the contact, retrieve the contact, edit the contact, update the contact, delete the contact. So this kind of small user management, how user will log in, institute portal, library management, hospital management. So these kind of requirements, you need to create yourself. You need to try developing on your own. So that will give you the confidence. It's not like faculty will teach, we will listen and we will learn. Today I will teach. Tomorrow, after going to the company, nobody will teach you. You are responsible for everything. You need to take care of everything. If any new technology required, you have to learn the technology. You have to work on the technology. Manager will tell you, I want this task to be completed. That's it. How do you do it? That is your responsibility. Manager will just tell you, I want this task to be completed. Hey Ashok, I want this project to be deployed in the AWS cloud. That's it. Whether I know AWS or I don't know AWS, manager will not know. Manager wants a task to be completed. That is how I learned AWS on my own. Last 4 years back, in my company, they gave me the task. We need to deploy the project on the AWS. 1 week, day and night. I have researched on the AWS. I learned that AWS cloud on my own. Now we are working on AWS. and we are teaching the AWS also in the classes. So every technology you need to be expert, especially related to Java. Not only Java, database required, front end required, API, microservice, AWS, DevOps, all these things you need to be master, and Linux also. Because in the company, most of the work will be there on the Linux operating system. Windows we will use only for the development. For a deployment purpose, Linux operating system will be available. Now you check what is your skill set now, what industry is expecting. Just 3 months of time you have. After 3 months, our course will be completed. Tata, bye-bye. Then what you will do? So utilize these 3 months of time. How much you want to learn? 3 months, because I'm available here as a trainer for you. So if you get any doubt, you can come and ask me. Once this course is completed, I will be busy with my schedule, with my classes, my office work. It will become difficult for you to meet me also after the course is completed. Whenever you come, I may be in the class. Whenever you come, I may be in my office meeting. So that's why utilize these 3 months of time properly. Come to the lab daily, sit here and do the practice. From morning 7 to evening 8:30, 9:30, lab is open. At any point of time, you can come and practice. I no need to force you. Please come to the practice. I no need to request you people to come and practice here. That is your career. You are responsible for that. Our part is taking the classes, giving the best content. That I will do from my side. From your side, you need to come and you need to do the practice. Any questions? You can ask us. We will clarify that. If you just listen to the class, no use. After Ashok IT, some other IT you have to join if you don't get the job. So please keep that in mind. 3 months, very, very, very important for you people. If you don't take it seriously for these 3 months, you need to struggle 1 to 2 years to get the job. If you spend 3 months properly, then you can get the job within 4 to 5 months of time. If you don't take it seriously, it may take 2 years, or it may take 2 years or 3 years to get the IT job. Because I told you, competition is very high in the market now. Keep that in mind. Because I have seen daily 5 to 6 people from this batch I can see in the lab. The remaining people I don't see in the lab. You're just enjoying. Right. So we are understanding how to write HQL query by using data JPA. HQL stands for Hibernate Query Language. It supports database independency. HQL query we cannot execute with the database directly. HQL query should be converted to SQL query. To convert the HQL query to SQL query, dialect classes will be available. Whatever the database driver you add in the pom.xml, based on that, dialect class will be used to convert our HQL to SQL. As HQL query should be converted to SQL, performance wise bit slow, but maintenance wise very, very good approach. SQL queries database dependent, they can execute with the database directly. As SQL queries are executing with the database directly, performance wise they will give you good performance. Good. Now I want to write one HQL query and I want to execute that. Let me remove all these methods in the service layer. Perfect. Now I have a repository. I'm extending the properties from CRUD repository. CRUD repository will provide the methods to perform the CRUD operation. You can go with predefined methods, or you can write find by methods, or you can go for custom queries also. So let me go for a custom query. I want to retrieve all the records from the table. So all the records means more than one record, list of objects I'm going to get. So I will write public list of employee get all EMPs. So when I'm going for custom query, method name convention is not important. You can write any name for the method because it should execute our query. But when you go for find by method, method name is very important. Based on the method name, query will be created by the JPA. Now to write a custom query, we are going to use @query annotation. @query annotation. So if you write from employee, So whenever you write a query like this, by default, JPA will consider this query as a custom query. Okay, because I am writing at the rate query, and this custom query also by default HQL query. By default it is a HQL query. Suppose I want to write SQL query. I want to write a SQL query. Public list of employee get all EMP records. I'm writing one more method, right? Here I'm writing at the rate query. So when I do like this, select star from employee. That is my table name. So both methods are used to perform same operation. Both methods are used to perform same operation. They want to retrieve the records from the table. So one is by using HQL query, another one is by using SQL query. HQL query and SQL query. Got my point? Good. Now here, when you call this method, JPA will understand that this is a HQL query, and it will convert that HQL query into SQL query, and it will execute that. But what about this query? For this query, conversion is required or conversion not required? Why conversion not required? Because it is already a SQL query. So we need to inform to the JPA this is a normal SQL query, conversion not required. Above query is a HQL query, for that conversion is required. This query is not a HQL, conversion not required. So when you want to execute SQL queries directly, you need to specify like this. Value is equal to query, comma, native query is equal to true. Native query nothing but plain SQL query, for that conversion is not required. If I don't specify native query is equal to true, it will also consider it as a HQL query. Then it will try to convert it, but it is not a HQL, it is a SQL. So when you are writing HQL queries, you need to follow this syntax. Is it a plain HQL or is it native query? What is the meaning of native query? Native query nothing but HQL query we are executing, or native query nothing but plain SQL query we are writing. That SQL query should execute directly, conversion not required. Are you clear? How to differentiate HQL query and SQL query when we go for custom queries? HQL query directly we can write like this. SQL query should have value is equal to the query, native query is equal to true. Now let me execute them. Here service object. Can I get the repository object also directly? Is it possible to get the repository object? Yes. Come on, tell me the syntax. I want to get the employee repository object in the start class. So first of all, employee repository is a Spring Bean or not a Spring Bean? Come on. Employee repository is a Spring Bean or not a Spring Bean? It is a interface extending from the CRUD repository. For this interface, implementation will be provided in the runtime, right? That implementation class object I want to get from the IOC container. Tell me how to get that object from the IOC container. How to get the bean object from the IOC container? By using context.getBean. Context.getBean employee repository dot class. You can get that in the service method, service class also. Just for testing purpose, I am getting in the start class. Interface bean object I am getting. It will give employee repo. Employee repo. Next one. Employee repo dot get all EMPs. Get all EMPs method will give all the EMPs. All EMPs dot for each of system dot out colon println. System colon out colon println. Good. Run as boot application. Now you see what happened here. Whatever the query I have created, Is this query same? Whatever the query I have written, is this query same? Which method I am calling? You observe. What is the method I am calling? Get all EMPs. Go to that method. What is this? HQL query is available. But same HQL query is executed or SQL query is executed. What is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that? Conversion happened. Who has done that conversion? Who has done that conversion? That conversion done by dialect class. Which dialect class it is used? Which dialect class it is used? MySQL dialect class it is going to use, right? You see practically, I have written a query, right? From employee. From is a keyword. Employee is the entity class name. From my start class, I'm calling this repository method. This method will execute this query. Is there any implementation for the method? Do I need to write the implementation for the method or not required? Not required. Implementation will be taken care by data JPA. Good. Now, when I execute that, when I call that method, one query is executed, but that query is not same as the query which I have created. That means the query is converted to SQL query by using dialect class. Clear? Next one. I have one more method which will execute SQL query directly, right? EMP repo dot get all EMP records. EMP repo dot get all EMP records. Now let me store into all EMPs. Get all EMP records method I am calling. Which query it is executing? SQL query or HQL query? SQL query. Conversion required or not required? How JPA will know that conversion not required? Native query is equal to true. If I don't give this native query is equal to true, what will happen? Try run as boot application. What happened? Come on, check this. Unsatisfied dependency injection, error creating bean with the service, constructor repository, could not create for public abstract get all EMP records, validation failed for the query for the method public get all EMP records. Boss, your method is having a query. JPA considering this query as a HQL query, but it is not following HQL syntax. So it will try to convert this query to SQL, but it is not a HQL for conversion. It is already a SQL query. So that's why it is failing. So what I need to tell to JPA now? Boss, this is already a SQL. You directly execute it. You don't need to do any conversion. So how to inform to the JPA? It is already a SQL query. Native query is equal to true. When this option is not available, it will treat as a HQL, convert to SQL. When this option is available, it will treat as a SQL directly. Conversion will not happen. Call this method run as boot application. Now you check it. Converted or directly executed? SQL query will be executed directly. HQL queries will be converted. So I hope you understood what is SQL query and what is HQL query. Are you clear with my point? Now I want to delete one record from the table by using custom query. Can we do that? Do you know how to delete a record? I want to delete the record 103. Based on the ID, I want to delete a record. So can you tell me what is SQL query to do that? Delete from EMP table where EMP ID is equal to EID. Delete from EMP table where EMP ID is equal to colon employee ID. So I want to execute select queries as well as non-select queries. Custom queries will support for that. But whereas when you go for find by method, only select query is supported. non-select query not supported. But custom queries will support for both. They will support for select queries as well as for non-select query. If you want to delete the record from the table, we can write this SQL query. Now, can you tell me HQL query for this? Come on. Delete from employee where employee ID is equal to colon employee ID. Delete from employee table where employee ID is equal to given ID. That is our SQL. Now I converted that SQL to HQL query. Delete from entity class whereas column name is equal to our entity variable name. I want to execute this query. Got it? Fine. Go to our repository interface. Let us write a method. Delete employee by ID. Public void delete emp by taking emp id or eid. Okay. How to write a custom query? @ query. How many ways we can write? How many ways we can write? Two ways. One is plain SQL. Second one is HQL. I want to go for a HQL. Come on. Delete from employee where employee ID is equal to colon. Can I write like this? Come on. Can I write like this? No. Why no? Why no? Can we try with this? What is the problem in this method? What is the problem in this method? Method parameter name, query parameter name should be same. Then only this value will be binded to this variable. Here, query parameter name is empid. Method parameter name is eid. So it is going to fail. It is going to fail. Try this. Yeah, I will pass 103. Okay, this is our method. Repository dot delete emp. Go to this method. Delete from employee where employee ID is equal to colon emp ID, but method parameter name is eid. Try this. Can you read this? An error exception. What is this? Illegal state exception. Read it. Come on, read it loudly. Using named parameters for the method. Delete emp integer parameter eid not found in the annotated query. Delete from employee where emp id is equal to emp id. They are checking that. So whatever you are taking eid, it is not there in the query. Query is having some name, parameter name is something different. So that's why query failed. This query is not a valid query. So how to correct it? Either I need to take this here or I need to take this here. So positional parameter name and method parameter name should be same. So in the JDBC, we need to set the value for prepared statement positional parameters. So pstmt.setInt, set string, set double. But here, do I need to set the value for the query parameters or it will be taken care by data JPA? So in the JDBC, we need to set the value for prepared statement query parameters, but in the Spring Data JPA, we no need to set the value for the positional parameters. You write proper names for the query parameters and method names. If your method parameter name and query parameter name is same, then the values will be passed to the query at the time of execution. Are you clear? Very good. Go to this one and run this. Now, is there any problem in the query? Is there any problem in the query? no problem in the query. Execute it. Start class, run as boot application. Now also failed. Okay. Now we got the exception. Go to that and read that. Come on. What is this? Expecting a select query, but it found a delete query. Scroll down. Read it. Expecting a select query, but it found delete query. Now here also expecting select query, but found delete statement. So whenever we write @query annotation, by default they are thinking that it is a select query, but it is a delete query that we have written. Are you clear with my point? So when you go for custom query with the query annotation, by default JPA thinking that programmer will write a select query, but here I have written a delete query. Here I have written delete query. So we need to inform to the data JPA, boss, this is not a select query. This is a non-select query. This is not a select query. This is a non-select query. When you write select query, you no need to do anything. Directly it will execute that. But when you want to execute a non-select query like insertion, updation, deletion, we need to inform to the data JPA, boss, my query is used to modify table data. So you need to write one annotation called @modifying. So when you write @modifying, JPA will understand, okay, this is not a select query. If I don't write this annotation, JPA will consider our query as a select query. But when I write @modifying, JPA mind will change. Okay, this programmer want to execute some non-select query. To execute non-select query, what operations are required? JPA should perform those operations. Able to understand? Now, when you go for non-select query, execute it. Run as boot application. Now observe. Still failed. Okay, see this. What is the exception? What is the exception we are getting? Same exception or any change? Delete from employee where employee ID is equal to EID. Expecting invalid data access, expecting a select query. It is giving the same exception. Delete EMP. Oh, I have removed modifying. Now also failed. After writing that annotation also failed. This time it is a different exception. Can you read that? What is the exception? So in the JDBC we discussed about transaction. When you are retrieving the data, transaction is not required. But when you are inserting the data or updating the data or deleting the data, that time transaction is required. So whenever you are writing a custom query to perform non-select operation, right? So first of all, we need to tell to the data JPA, this is a non-select operation. To tell to the data JPA, this is a non-select operation, we are going for modifying annotation. To tell to the data JPA, this is a non-select operation, we are going for modifying. So when you want to modify the table data with the custom query, transaction is required. So to give the transaction for this, we will write one annotation called @transactional. What is the annotation? @transactional. This transactional I am taking from Spring Framework transaction annotation. Transactional. Okay. Now try this. Go to database and check the data. select a star from table. There are 3 records available. Now go to start class, execute, run as boot application. Now what happened? Query executed or not? Delete from employee where ID is equal to some value. Go to database. Earlier there are 3 records available. Now there are 2 records available. So we are able to perform non-select operation also by using custom query. But when you want to perform non-select operation, you need to use 2 annotations extra. What are those 2 annotations extra? One is at the rate modifying, another one is at the rate transactional. What is the purpose of at the rate modifying? What is the purpose of at the rate modifying? Come on. At the rate modifying is used to represent, our query will execute a non-select query. When you are executing a non-select query, transaction is required for that. How to specify that we need a transaction? By using at the rate transactional annotation. Similarly, you can update the record also, but insertion not possible directly. When you go for data JPA custom query, you cannot execute insert query, but you can execute select query, update query, retrieve update query, and delete query also. Insert query is not possible directly. If you want to insert the data by using data JPA, what you need to do? Table 1 is available and table 2 is available. Okay. Now here I have a table called items table is available. Here I have a table called products table is available. So if you have two tables with the same column names, one table data we can insert into another table by using data JPA. So if you have data in one table, that table data you can select and you can insert into another table, but directly inserting the data into table with the insert query is not possible. So I want you to try how to insert the data into table by using data JPA custom query. That is the task for you. I already gave the clue also. Direct insert query not possible. Insert into table values, that will not work out. If you want to insert the data into the table, you need to select the data from the other table, then only you can insert that. Similarly, update you can do directly. Delete we have already done. So when you are doing insert or update or delete, so these are two annotations we have to write. One is at the rate transactional, another one is at the rate modifying. What is the meaning of at the rate modifying? What is the meaning of at the rate modifying? It is used to represent that we want to execute one non-select query. For the non-select query execution, transaction is required. How to write the transaction? At the rate transactional annotation. So what is the task for you today? What is the task for you today? Write a custom query to insert the data into table using data JPA. Similarly, update query, that is easy. Update is a straightforward. Update set column value is equal to value from the table where condition is equal to some value. Update query you can write directly, that is straightforward. But insert query is not straightforward. You cannot execute insert query directly. If you want to insert the data, you need to take the data from one table, then only you can insert into other table. Are you clear? Good. Any questions? Anybody having any questions? And one more requirement. I am giving you three tasks for today. I want all of you to sit here and practice. First one, insert record using custom query. Insert record using custom query in data JPA. Second one. Okay. Update record using custom query in data JPA. Write a custom query write a custom query to retrieve EMP name and EMP department. Right? I want you to perform a projection. So we are writing from employee. It will retrieve all the records, all the columns. But now requirement is I want to retrieve all the employees, names and departments. That's it. I don't want to retrieve all the columns. This is the task for today. Okay, today's assignment. Insert record using custom query in the data JPA. Update record using custom query in the data JPA. Write a custom query to retrieve employee name and employee department using custom HQL query. Got it? Read the assignment. Insert record using custom query in the data JPA. Update record using custom query in the data JPA. Write a custom query to retrieve employee name and employee department using custom query. Done. Good. Any questions, anyone? No. Not predefined method. Custom query you need to write. So inserting save method you can call if you want to go with the predefined method. I want you to insert the record without calling the save method. That is the task. Huh? We will use save method only. Yes. I'm updating the notes, guys. Okay. Let us see what questions are there for online students. JPQL. JPQL and Hibernate are almost similar. HQL and JPQL. HQL means Hibernate query language and JPQL nothing but Java persistence query language. Okay. Can we use a data JPA for GCP storage? GCP means cloud, right? You can't. Data JPA is only for DB communication, not with the cloud communication. If you have database in the cloud, if you have MySQL or Oracle database in the GCP cloud, then you can use a data JPA. So if anybody working on the cloud platform, AWS, how to communicate with the RDS database in the AWS, I have already given a video. How to write our Spring Data JPA application to communicate with the AWS cloud. AWS RDS Ashok IT. So how can we MySQL DB setup, not this. Yeah. Spring Boot application with the AWS RDS database. Currently, we are using the database in our local system, right? I have installed the database in my system. But tomorrow, when you go for the company, the database will be available in the cloud platform. So in this video, I have explained how to create a database in the AWS cloud, how our Spring Boot application can connect with the cloud database. Same process for the GCP also. Okay, good. So in this video, I have given that clarity. I will log in into AWS cloud. I will create a MySQL database in the AWS cloud. Then you no need to install the database in your system. In the company, database will not be available in your system. Database will be available in the cloud. How can we communicate with the cloud database? That I have already explained in this video. Just our properties file data is going to different, right? We are using localhost. What is the meaning of localhost? Database is available inside our system. Tomorrow, our database will be in the cloud. Instead of the localhost, we will give the IP address of the cloud machine. That's it. Then our application can connect with the cloud database. So anyhow, AWS concepts are part of our Java project. There you are going to learn what is cloud computing, why we need to go for cloud, how to work with the cloud as a Java developer. So mostly 1 week to 10 days, we are going to learn the AWS cloud concepts that are required for the Java developers. Got my point? Good. Yeah. Online students, anyone having any question, you can unmute and you can ask me. Listen what questions they are asking.
Okay, so is select query. Okay, so we have the save all query over there. So that the save all query is a bulk insert or single insert.
Save all is bulk insert. That means you can pass multiple objects at a time to the method. It will insert all the records one by one, right? Save method will be for one record insertion or update. Save all, collection of objects you can pass at a time. You can see method parameter to understand the difference.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, hi,
hi, sir. Without modifying, we can use transactional. It is applicable, sir.
If you don't write the modifying annotation, right, it won't accept your query. So one person is asking, can I write only transactional without using modifying annotation? Right? Now let us try this. I'm giving 102 as a ID which is already available. Let us execute it. Run as boot application. What happened? Is it working with only transactional? No. So we have to specify the modifying, then only JPA will consider that it is a non-select query. If I don't write the modifying, JPA will consider this as a select query. So I hope your answer, you got your answer.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir. One more doubt, sir. Yes. For suppose I am attending one interview, sir. You can write in JPQL queries, sir.
Okay, in the interview they are asking how to write the JPQL query. HQL query, JPQL query, both are same.
Okay.
Okay.
But why we are introducing JPQL query, sir?
Actually, ORM is asking a question, what is HQL and what is JPQL? The thing is, yes, ORM framework is available. For the ORM framework, Hibernate is one implementation, JPA is one implementation. So these are two different implementations. When you go for a Hibernate implementation, we will write the HQL query. When you go for JPA implementation, we will write the JPQL query. Syntaxes are same. Only list is available. Array list is one class, linked list is one class. Similarly, for ORM, Hibernate is one implementation, JPA is one implementation. When you go for a Hibernate implementation, you will write the HQL query. When you go for JPA implementation, JPQL query we are going to use. Got it? There also, instead of the table name, class name. Instead of the column name, variable name. JPQL queries also database independent. JPQL queries also will be converted to SQL by using dialect class. Only these are two different implementation. Syntaxes are same.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, hello. What is name query?
What is named query? Yes. Named query means we will write a query with the some name. We will assign a name for the query. By using that name, we can execute that query. Named queries, we are going to write in the entity class itself. I will show you how to write the named queries also. That means what query that you want to write, you want to execute several times, we will write that query at one place and we are going to call the same query. But in the data JPA, we don't need that because already we are writing the query here. When you go for plain Hibernate, then we will use the named queries. Instead of writing the query at multiple places, you can write the query at one place and you can execute the same query from the multiple places. But when you are going for the data JPA, named queries does not have much effect.
Sir, how you created voice is breaking, object for interface? Spring Bean object.
Oh, man, you are sleeping in the class. He's asking why we are creating object for the interface. Are we creating any object for the interface?
You created Spring Bean object, sir.
That is what, sir, I told you multiple times in the class. Whenever you call getBean method with the interface, IOC container will get the object of the implementation class of the interface. This interface is a JPA interface. For that interface, implementation class will be provided by the JPA in the runtime by using proxy. Did I cover that or not?
Yes,
I think you missed the session.
No, sir, no, sir. I was confused because previously you interacted with the dependent classes, no, sir. True.
Right, sir. But here, JPA repository is a special interface. For that interface, implementation class will be created by data JPA in the runtime by using proxy. So whenever I call getBean method, we are not going to get the interface object. We are going to get the implementation bean object.
So if you remove CRUD repository from there, we can't
You can't do that.
Okay.
Yes. So if you remove this extends from CRUD repository annotation, then your interface is a normal interface. Object will not be created. It will fail.
Okay.
Yep. Next question.
Sir, if we have a special requirement where we need to combine the tables.
Yes, sir. He's asking your name, Akshay?
Yes.
Yeah, join queries we have to write. We will cover that.
Okay.
By using @query, we can execute join queries also. One employee available, multiple addresses are available. I want to retrieve all the one employee, all the addresses. Employee data in the employee table, address data in the address table. I want to get employee data and that employee address data. Two tables data I want to retrieve by using a join query. We can execute join query also by using @query annotation. Got it?
Yeah.
Ashok, if they're asking about the transaction management, how can we explain? By simply I can say that at transaction that is
actually answer, right? When you are going for the data JPA, when you are communicating with only one table, then you can use @transactional annotation. See, all these questions are asking by working people. So when they attend the class, their understanding will be different. You people are not asking a single question. They're asking, how do we manage transactions in the project? Yes, good question, sir. When you are communicating with only one table, by using this annotation, we can manage the transactions. But when we are working with the microservices, this is not sufficient to handle the transaction. To handle the transaction in the microservices, there is a design pattern called Saga design pattern. So because when you book the order in the project, payment will happen in one microservice, order confirmation will happen in one microservice. If your payment is failed, order should be cancelled. Two projects should deal with the same transaction. That's where Saga design pattern we are going to use. That will be covered as part of the course.
Okay.
Good question. Yep.
Yes, sir. One more question.
Yes.
If we run this application with the Spring Data JPA, by default it is taking the Hikari CP connection pool.
Sir. By default, it is taking care of the connection pool called Hikari connection pool. We can customize that Hikari connection pool also. It will be covered.
Okay.
Yep. So they're asking which connection pool we are using in the data JPA. What is the default connection pool in the JPA? Hikari connection pool we are using by default in the Spring Data JPA. We can customize that Hikari CP connection pool also. I will show you how to customize that. Next question.
One question, sir.
Yep.
So in the table, if we have two integer fields as primary key.
Yes, that is composite primary key, part of the syllabus. How to work with the primary key in the data JPA by using generators, and what is composite primary key, how to work with the composite primary key in the data JPA, we will discuss that. Please check the syllabus. I have mentioned all these concepts there. Composite primary keys, association mapping, connection pooling, these things are yet to cover. So we are in the mid of the data JPA. Data JPA not completed. Another 5-6 topics are pending. We have to learn. Mostly by this weekend, we will try to complete the data JPA. Next.
If our query is interacting with two tables within the same project.
Yes, so we can do that. Two tables or two databases?
Two tables.
Yeah, we can do that. HQL query we can write. I mean, we can write a join query.
Transaction two databases, Ashok.
Select query, when you want to communicate with the two tables to retrieve the data, it is a select operation, transaction not required. Yeah, Sandhya, you are asking.
Hi, Ashok. How can we connect two databases from one application?
Yeah, if you want to connect with the two databases, that is a big process in the Spring Boot. So I have already given that video. So if you want to go through that, you can see that.
Yeah, thank you.
So that is very famous interview question.
Yeah,
how
got
to
that
communicate
question.
with two databases using Spring Boot. Let me show you. Yeah, here, how to configure multiple databases in the Spring Boot. 10 months back, I have given one video in the YouTube. Within 15 minutes, you can understand how to communicate with the two different databases using Spring Boot. That is damn sure question in the interview. Yeah, I shared the link of that video in the chat box.
Okay, thank you, Ashok.
And yesterday I have shared one video how to explain our roles and responsibilities in the interview. Have you gone through that? That's very, very important, sir. And there is one more video I have uploaded in the channel, how to explain self-introduction in the interview. So as a developer, when you attend the interview, the first question they are going to ask you, tell me about yourself. So how to answer that? Tell me about yourself in the interview. That video also I have given 2 videos. How to introduce yourself and how to explain your roles and responsibilities in the interview. Here I have given developer roles and responsibilities in the software job. Self-introduction also I have given one video somewhere. Yeah. Software developers, how to explain yourself in the interview. That video also I have given. I will share that video also in our channel today. Just go through that so that you will get the idea. When you are attending experienced interview, then what is the process we need to follow to explain ourselves in the interview and how to explain our roles and responsibilities in the interview. Roles and responsibilities video I shared yesterday in our group. So this video also I will share today. Please go through that. So you need to practice the way that you present. Your communication skills are very, very, very important when you are attending the interview. Good. Today yesterday I got a call from one company. They have recruitment for 5 Java developers who completed Spring Boot microservices training with good communication skills. So openings are there. They are going to offer 3.2 lakhs package for the freshers who are done with our Spring Boot microservices and Java project training. So today I'm sending 10 people to the interview. They will select 5 people out of the 10. So we are getting the calls. Don't say that openings are not there. Openings are there. Skilled people are not there in the market. So openings are less, that is accepted. But still recruitment is happening, but very less number of companies are taking the people. So today 10 people will go for that interview. They will select out of 10, 5 people. 5 openings are there. Company is in Malapur. So if you practice well, then after 3 months, you also can attend the interview from our institute side. Or you can upload the resume in the Naukari to get the calls. So it depends on your practice for next 3 months, how your career will be after 3 months of time. That is in your hand. From my side, 100% pakka, the best content I am going to provide. Once you attend my 2 courses, Boot Microservice and Project, you are equal to 3 years experienced developer. At that level, you can do the practice. At that level, you can develop the projects. You can do everything on your own. Complete full stack you can do on your own, including DevOps tools, including AWS Cloud also. Along with that, Angular front-end development, backend with Boot and microservices. From my side, I will keep my 100% effort. If you also keep your 100% effort, then you will get the success. That is in your hand now. So how do you practice that? Take care of it. Good, guys. Fine. With this, I'm stopping for today. Someone asking question here.
I have a question, sir.
1 minute, sir.
Ashok, sir, I'm Ram here.
Ram, 1 minute. 1 minute. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
In place of Hibernate? Huh. No, that is
So
a
if we
pixel keyword. When you, the name itself is a find by method, right? The method name should start with find by keyword only. If you write any other name, it will not accept that. Method name should start with the find by. After that, you can write your entity class variable name to construct that query, right? You can't use any other name. Yes. Yeah. Ram, what is your question?
Yeah, I have a general question, sir, not about subject. So may I know when we finish this course? Just a general question.
When this course will be finished? By February?
Yeah, why I'm this much interesting is I'm from Chicago, sir, right now, USA.
USA, okay.
I never believe market is very down for Java here in America. I don't know about right now in our country.
Okay.
So huge demand here we have in Java, Spring Boot here.
Yes.
So that is the reason I'm asking, sir. I'm sorry
Yes,
for
sir.
that. Yeah.
Mostly by February, we will complete that, sir. In the January, I will not be available for 1 week because I need to go to Shabarimala. So 1 week, I will not be available in the January month. So mostly by February, course will be completed by February end. Mostly by February, February will be the last date. By February end, we will complete the course.
Okay,
And when
thank
you
you,
are
sir.
starting the
And he is
project,
saying, sir, Ram is joining our class from Chicago, USA. So
Yeah,
he's saying
yeah,
that
yes,
there
sir,
are
I'm from Chicago.
huge openings for Java developers with Boot microservices knowledge.
Yeah, yeah, you believe me or not, sir? People are talking like, market down throughout the world in December, January, February, but I don't know right now in our country, but USA still we have jobs. We are the one to choose whether where we can go, the state, and then we can go for remote jobs also. We have a choice because of demand.
Yes, sir. Even if the IT market is down, for Java developers, market will never go down. Always demand will be there for the Java developers in the market, right? So for other technologies like Python, DevOps, AWS, Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, data science, for these technologies, less number of openings will be available. So if there is a recession in the IT also, still companies want the Java developers. The reason, there are so many projects already developed using Java. They need maintenance for those projects. They need manpower to manage those projects which are already completed. That's why for Java developers, always openings will be there. Always openings. It's not my statement. Our friend joined from US. He's saying that lot of demand for Java developers with Spring Boot microservices in the US also. Right. Yes, sir.
Sir, when you are starting the project batch.
1 minute, sir. Venkatesh, 1 minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, HQL, JPQL, both are same. If it depends upon what implementation you are using. When you are going for Spring Data JPA, you can't see the difference. When you go for plain Spring ORM or plain Hibernate, then you can see the difference of HQL and JPQL. In the Data JPA, you can't see the difference because the underlying implementation is Hibernate plus JPA only. Same, exactly same, nothing else. If you go for plain ORM, then you can see the implementation difference, either Hibernate or JPA to communicate with the database. But when you go for Data JPA, there is no difference. Okay. Yeah, Venkatesh, what is your question?
Yes, sir. So when you are starting the project batch,
yes,
and when
project batch, we already announced. The project batch will be starting from December 11th. So the people who want to attend project batch, so we already given Java real-time project from 11th December at 6 p.m. IST. Both the classroom and online training will be available. So I have given the poster also for that. Share that poster with your friends also. Anybody who want to understand the real-time project development process, who want to become a real full stack developer with end-to-end approach, will be covered in that project batch. Project batch will take 3 to 4 months of time. 20 plus tools we are going to learn. Angular we will learn. Cloud we will learn. DevOps tools we are going to learn. Backend development with Boot microservices we will learn. Front-end development with Angular you will learn. Whatever I have learned in my career in the last 11 years, everything I will explain in the project batch. So that will give you a lot of confidence to attend experienced interviews. Yesterday, one student came from Patna, Bihar. So he was my student for the project batch in the 2019 when I was teaching in the other institute as a faculty. Now he is getting 28 lakhs package. So he's working as a team lead in the company. Yesterday he came here to join his brother in the full stack development. So he learned the project with our JRTP training. At that time, Ashok IT is not there. I was working with some other institute. So he attended the class there and he got the job in the 2018 or 19. Now he is working as a team lead. He joined in the company with 3+ fake experience, 3 years real experience. In the company, he is a 6 years experienced candidate. He is leading the team. Team size is 8 members. So that much content we are going to learn. Whatever the syllabus we will learn in the project, that much knowledge, those many tools, genuine 3 years experienced person also will not have. But in the company, as a 3 years developer, you will not get the chance to work with 20+ tools. You will not get the chance to work with DevOps, AWS, Java, and all that stuff. So if you learn this technology, if you learn this course, then you can you can keep 3+ years of experience to attend the interviews. Whoever is having the career gap. If you don't have a career gap, then we can't do anything. You need to go as a fresher. So I have a other option, but today in the market, the background verification process is very strict. So when I joined in the company, I completed my BTech in the 2012. I got my job in 13 with 3.5 years fake experience. I edited my certificates with the Photoshop and I joined in the company. But now that will not work out because verification process is very strict in the IT now. They are going to your college, they are going to your home, they are talking to your neighbors, they are talking to your parents and all that stuff. So verification process is strict. If you have career gap, then you can keep the experience. If you don't have career gap, you need to try as a fresher. So at least if you have 1 year gap, that is sufficient. 1 year, 1.5 year experience also, will be considered for the Java developers. With 1.5 year experience also, you will get the calls after March month. Got it? Good. Yes. Fine. Any other questions?
Or
one
sorry,
question.
one more question for this.
Yes.
By February end, can we attend the interviews by using, with microservices?
By February end, with my complete SBMS 36 batch will be completed by February end. By March end, JRTP will be completed.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good. Fine.
Ashok, one question. So how to transfer the real-time objects like a school teacher teaching for year 2021, 2022, 2023, having subjects like science, maths, 3 different subjects or 4 different subjects, and for different grades into tables. How we can use this JPA? How we
Association
can
mapping we
translate?
need to do for that, sir. Marks will be in one table, grades will be in one table, student data will be one table. In the association mapping, you will understand it.
Okay.
Okay.
So the real time like objects to tables.
Yes, correct. That is called
Mapping
ORM. Object will be mapped to table name.
Like, because should we use it that it should be like a tables all the time, even
All the
though
time,
for the
tables,
list and
tables.
the link.
Yes, tables will be available. Entity classes will have the link with the table.
So is there anything we could use, sir, for the linked list and all in the tables?
No, in the entity class will represent, that is what, sir. Just give me another 3-4 days. I will tell you how to do the association mapping. Then you will get the clarity. Okay. Good. Fine. Thank you, guys. Anyone else? Any question here? What type of interview questions asked on the JPA? I will give that list. Okay. Good. Already I think we uploaded the videos also. JPA 25 interview questions. So if in our channel, lot of useful content is there. You just need to go through that. So top 100 interview questions on the Spring Boot also we have uploaded. 100 plus Spring Boot microservices interview questions are there. Okay. So if you go through this video, you will understand. Here part-wise questions are there. Spring Core, Spring Boot, Data JPA, REST API, security, microservices. Total 6 parts are there. In that 100 questions we have explained. Top 100 questions they will ask on the Spring Boot and microservices. Okay, good. Fine. Thank you. With this, I'm stopping for today. We'll meet in the tomorrow session. Please come to the lab and practice, guys. Thank you.